The Eagles have a 3-point lead from the first leg, which was held down at Bristol on Friday night, which the Eagles won by 97-94. However, that doesn't tell a story of the game, because at one point in the second quarter, the Eagles were 33 points in front, and even going into the final quarter, they were 24 points in front before Bristol had a huge fourth quarter to bring it right back to 3 and mean it's really his game on tonight. With me as ever is Dave Elderkin, and Dave, you want to say one or two things? I think though, before we do, I think there's going to be a minute's silence. Yeah, it's going to be a minute's silence in honour of Esh Group Chief Executive Brian Manning, who sadly died on Friday. Esh Group, obviously the Eagles' main sponsor, so we'll just cut off for a minute to observe the minute's silence, please.
And our community family. A familiar face to all our Eagles fans, an incredible supporter over many years. Brian earned a significant reputation as one of the North East's most astute businessmen with a vision to serve his community. Brian was a great friend of all of us and a very much big part of the Eagles family. He was very proud of his Eagles team and the work that the Eagles Community Foundation delivered. And it will be a sad miss to all of us. Along with his colleagues at Esh Group, the thoughts of all the Eagles players, staff and our supporters are with Brian and his family at this very difficult time. Please could I ask you to join in for Brian with a minute's applause and remember the great man he was. The signal for Hugo will commence that. 1 minute applause for Brian Manning, a true Eagle. Thank you very much. A true gentleman and a true Eagle. Brian Manning.
Okay, great tribute that to Brian Manning, who's been the man behind the Eagles sponsorship for the last few years, and minutes applause there, well observed by everybody in the building. And on that sad note, unfortunately, I'm going to pass over to Dave Elderkin now, and he's going to try and give you some stats and thoughts on today's game.
Well, obviously this big lead from the Eagles and the amazing fight back by Bristol flies pretty much in the face of the league performance this year, which was pretty much dominated by the Eagles. We know Bristol have got firepower. They're very, very well organised, well coached. I think that the situation they've always had problems with against the Eagles is the Eagles' defence is capable of taking out of their discipline and their smooth running, but it was still a shock to know that the Eagles surrendered a 33-point lead the other night. So obviously setting up what could be a very close encounter tonight, but one I still expect the Eagles to win.
Yeah, and Eagles further boosted. We played a few minutes on Friday, Dre Parks, but he's out there warming up and looks ready to go this afternoon, so that could make a big difference for the Eagles. Obviously Bristol never actually beaten the Eagles, but this is if ever there's a year to do something against the Eagles that you haven't done before, this seems to be the year. I mean, if you look at London, hadn't won here in a number of years, and they hadn't taken the head-to-head over the Eagles, and they've done both of that this year. Leeds Force hadn't beaten the Eagles and have done that again this year, and Sheffield hadn't beaten the Eagles for nearly 4 years, and they've managed to do that again this year. So if ever was a chance for Bristol, it's probably this year. Although I have to say, I was as surprised as anybody watching the game on Friday to see the way Bristol came back and how the Eagles virtually collapsed in that final quarter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in terms of scoring points, the Eagles are averaging 73 points a game against Bristol's 78. One advantage that the Flyers do have, their defence is a little bit meaner than the Eagles. They're conceding 80, the Eagles 84. And Ali, Cosby, Smith, Boggs, Vigo, the likely starting five are all capable of putting up numbers, but I'm not sure they can put up numbers in the same ratio that some of the Eagles stars can. And as I say, it's all about, can Bristol's discipline withstand the sort of pressure that the Eagles showed here when they beat Leicester just over a week ago, and then again Sheffield Sharks last Sunday. Because let's not forget, although they conceded a lot of points on Friday, the Eagles did end the season on a high in terms of their performance against two of the top teams in the country.
Yeah, and just looking at the starting fives at the moment, is we have, not surprisingly, because he has been out a couple of weeks, Dre Parks doesn't start the game, and for the Eagles we have 13 Darius Defoe, 14 Scott Martin, 20 Fab Flanoy, 23 Orlan Jackman, and 44 Ramon Fletcher. And for Bristol, it's the expected starting five of number 0 Mike Vigo, number 1 Hamid Ali, number 2 Aaron Cosby, number 21 Leslie Smith, and number 24 Brandon Boggs. Should be a really good game, and I think obviously both teams have got everything to fight for, and certainly not a dead rubber like sometimes these games can be.
No, absolutely not. And you're also in playoff games. You look at what the bench can bring, and there's 3 pretty solid players on the Flyers bench, and in Daniel Edzorzi, who will help them a lot on the boards. Greg Street, one of the probably most experienced players, British player in the league, and then the backup guard Roy Owen. But of course now the Eagles have got the advantage of being able to bring somebody like Dre Parks off the bench, in addition to the normal impact from Drew Lasker, Joe Hart, etc.
Yeah, ready to go, and referee Chris Dodds moves into the middle. Ball's up. Defoe wins it for the Eagles. Jackman picks the loose ball up, and it's the Eagles on offense straight away. It's Martin, top 3, ball into Darius and Defoe, and knocks in the first 2 points of the game, and Eagles' usual way of getting Darius Defoe involved straight away.
Well, it's almost like it's mandatory. It must be something to get drilled in every game, but that was crazy, because he was out of balance and he took it off one leg but still made it as clean as a whistle.
Here's Smith going to the basket. Good defense by the Eagles. That Defoe and Martin. The ball goes out to play off Smith's foot, and it's an Eagles end line ball.
And this was the point I was making before the game, Jeff. What Bristol have to do, they can't be in a comfort zone, because the Eagles defense will mess them about, will really not try to knock them out of the rhythm. That's exactly what happened there.
Fletcher brings the ball up, he gives it to Defoe, to Flanoy, back to Fletcher. There's Martin, nice fake by Martin. Back out to Jackman. Jackman goes to shoot 3, but that's well short.
Yeah, and I don't think he realised just how quickly the Bristol player was closing him down, and was able to put him under a lot of pressure. He didn't really have a clean look at that shot.
Smith finds Vigo inside. Lovely pass from Smith, and Vigo makes the 2-point layup.
Yeah, well executed backdoor play, very well executed.
There's Fletcher, who burned Bristol for 31 on Friday, and keep continuing that form that he's shown over the last month or so. Defoe back to Martin. Martin going in, and that looks like a blocking foul to be called on Leslie Smith.
I think a lot tonight also is going to depend. I mean, Scott Martin didn't have his best ever game on Friday, but we all know that he wasn't well, and obviously he only shot 1 for 10, so he's telling me he's got a lot more energy today, so I think that could be a factor as well in the Eagles' favour.
Yeah, I mean, he took Scott 1 for 10, and Dre Parks only played about 8 or 9 minutes. There's another foul, travel actually called on Scott Martin. I think that's a significant part of, because obviously Martin and Parks have been second and third scorers on this team behind Fletcher, so that'll be something the Eagles will be looking for. Bristol, obviously their team is very consistent and they had a big game out of their skipper Greg Street on Friday night, who's actually on the bench at the moment. Here's Brandon Boggs. He finds Smith. 15-foot jump shot is short. Vigo though gets up in front of Jackman to knock the rebound back, and the loose balls come out off an Eagles player, and it's Bristol ball end line.
Yeah, Leslie Smith averaging 12.3 points a game. His stats are more impressive on the boards, but where he's not impressive is on distance, shooting from distance, and that was not the best shot to take for the Bristol's Flyers.
Yes, Ali moving into the centre of the court. He finds Boggs in the corner. Boggs shooting three, and it's way over the top, but Vigo picks up the loose ball and knocks it in, another 2 points, and Bristol have an early lead at 4-2.
Yeah, and it's Michael Viga 4, Newcastle Eagles 2, one really good back door cut, and then secondly came in and cleaned the glass with absolutely nobody boxing him out anywhere.
And there's Fletcher trying to go past Ali, and Ali fouls him, and then a little bit of afters. I think more in fun than anything between Fletcher and Ali. There was a little bit of needle in the game on Friday night later on, particularly with Darius Defoe, who's just had a 2-point shot hit the rim and moved down, dropped down. And here's Bristol coming up, and Vigo again going to the basket. He finds Boggs cutting from the side, and that's a massive slam home from Boggs. And Bristol leads 6-2 in the early stages, and some finish that from Boggs.
Yeah, and what about the assist from Viga? I mean, he scored the first baskets for them. He's been closed Darius Defoe down twice, kept him under pressure on 2 of his shots, and that was a lovely dish off for a big guy.
Vigo is Fletcher going for 3. Again, that's short. Rebound taken by Cosby.
Well, Fletcher didn't connect there, you know, but his 30 odd points you mentioned on Friday is no surprise to me, and he is capable of big numbers like that. And a lot of it is, does Bristol have anybody who can also hit those sort of numbers?
Well, Boggs has now just followed up his flying dunk with an outside 3-point shot, and suddenly Bristol lead 9-2. Boggs showing both sides of his game early on. Here's Fletcher trying to get to the basket. Can't make it, but Alden Jackman takes a good rebound, offensive rebound, and puts it back for the Eagles.
That's what I like about Alden Jackman. You know, he's a bit streaky in points wise, but he's tough on the boards at either end of the floor, and have many times he's worked his way into the offensive glass this year and taken a crucial offensive rebound. Boggs
at the other end's just knocked in a long 2. 11-4 Flyers, and the Flyers bench were all up after Boggs knocked that 2 down. Fantastic support from the bench. Here's Cosby now going for 2. That's short, and Defoe takes the defensive rebound, gives the ball to Fletcher. Fletcher guarded by Ali. Goes in low to
That is so perfect on the line. The last ball sponsors Messrs. Panels UK Limited. We have one sponsor here at Carlton. Your Sunday afternoon. TV action here at Central. Let's all work together, Sports Central. And defense for your Eagles. Eagles stand solid.
Basket and his shot just at the front rim, and Boggs picking up the rebound. He's found a Dorsey wide open from about 12 to 14 feet, but that's not really a Dorsey's range.
No, and the Eagles will be pleased to see the Dorsey and Smith taking long-range shots, because they haven't got the shooting capacity to make those.
There's a big scramble there in the Bristol defence. I trust you're back all watching live basketball.tv again. We do apologise for the power cut we had there just there before, but everything seems to be sorted out now, and we're back up and running, and hopefully you're enjoying this game, which is a close one. It's 13-10 to the Flyers at the moment, but Defoe's just been fouled going for a shot, and he'll go to the line again for two free throws.
Well, certainly Darius Defoe's carrying the scoring load for the Eagles at the moment. He's got 8 points of the 10 so far. He's going for the line, the chance to make another 2, and this could well be part of the Eagles' strategy. There's a weakness on the interior defence of Bristol, and get the ball in, pound the ball into Darius.
I think Darius Defoe, who obviously has been out for a few weeks and has only just come back in the last couple of weeks, is getting stronger with every game, and he's still got that bandage on his hand, but he certainly looks up for the game tonight and knocks the first free throw down.
I was just wondering whether it was affecting his shooting technique, but certainly didn't affect it on the free throw line. A really nice stroke for his first one.
And he knocks the second one down as well, so he's gone 4 from 4 from the line and up to 9 points personal out of Eagles 12, and it's a 1-point game, which puts the Eagles up 2 points on aggregate at the moment. He has Ali at the other end searching for somebody. Dorsey makes a good cut to the basket, but he's not found. Greg Street, who's come on, finds Boggs. Boggs going for the long three. Hits the front of the rim and bounces out of bounds for an Eagles sideline ball.
Yeah, I thought Bristol were going to go into their continuity stuff there with that slip and pick and roll from Dorsey, but actually Boggs just chose to have the dish out pass and fire it up. That wasn't necessarily the best move for Bristol.
There's Defoe from further out this time. This one's just off, but in his eagerness to grab the rebound, Cosby there, he doesn't gather it in, and the ball goes out of bounds at the end line, and it'll be an Eagles end line ball at the offensive end for them.
While all that's going on, Coach Andreas Kapoulis is talking to his bench, and I'll guess one of the things they'll be saying is you got to hit these bodies of the Eagles as they come for the offensive rebounds.
There's Martin, fadeaway jump shot. That one's also short, but great work by Flanoy inside to get that ball back. And here's Fletcher spinning to the basket. His layup's just off, and amongst the bodies, it's Bristol who come up with the rebound. Ali going for the shot at the other end. The ball's stolen by Flanoy. He gives it to Martin. Jackman for 2, and again just short. Both sides missing good chances here. Here's Boggs now going to go to the basket. Defoe onto him, but a good spin move by Brandon Boggs, and he's up to 9 points, and Flyers lead by 3 on the night.
Now, I don't know whether it's planned, but from watching the way Boggs is playing at the moment, he's taken on the responsibility single-handedly of getting Bristol their points.
It's Defoe again, turning on Dorsey and making a 2. Darius Defoe definitely having a very big start to his game tonight.
Huge, excellent move as well. He backed Dorsey in, spun him, and faded away.
And there's Boggs again on Jackman, making 2 over Owen Jackman, who played pretty good day there, but still couldn't stop Boggs making that shot. And it's the Boggs and Defoe show at the moment.
It is 1v1. The rest of the players may go sit down and just play 1v1.
There's Flanoy for the Eagles.
The longer this game goes on, the more it's going to be down to contributions from other players.
There's Fletcher going in, lovely pass from Fletcher, finds Flanoy under the basket, unmarked, and Flanoy puts 2 away for the Eagles. 16-17 at the moment to Bristol. Here's Ali, very much the ball handler for Bristol, to Dorsey, out to Boggs. Boggs will shoot that one. Shoots another 3, which is off, and Eagles all there for the rebound.
It's all very well when he's making them, Jeff, but he's going somewhere to taking the Flyers out what they're good at, which is teamwork.
Fletcher looking for a foul inside there, thought he was held, but nothing called. Flanoy now got the ball inside the key, and that's a nice jump shot, but it hits the back of the rim and comes back out. And Cosby with the rebound. That's a lovely pass from Cosby. Cosby was going to Dorsey. No, Dorsey looked as if he was going to make the 2 points, but he's challenged by Defoe. who picks up the foul but stops the Dozy scoring the points. And at the 8-minute mark, it's Darius Defoe coming out. In fact, big changes for the Eagles with Defoe, Martin, and well, somebody else has got to come out because they've got 6 on the court at the moment.
Well, hopefully not, because it'll be technicals flying around.
Olin Jackman was the other one who went out. Yeah,
interesting substitution, but one I would completely agree with. Darius Defoe picks up 1 foul, and Christian Berens coming in as a welcome replacement anyway, because he can make an impact in terms of keeping the Bristol players away from the glass and being a nuisance, along with Olin Jackman at the other end. But you know, Darius has a history of getting in foul trouble, and once he gets his first, sometimes he doesn't know to hold back on that second one.
Bristol also making substitutions with Roy Owen coming on, and he's immediately going to pick up Dre Parks, who's come on for the Eagles, and Drew Lasker also on. So Martin, Jackman and Defoe were the ones off, so Eagles have gone small, taking the 3 biggest players and the main rebounders off. And there's Parks from way downtown shooting a 3, but that one's off, and Boggs takes a rebound.
Looked rusty, didn't it? Looked rusty.
And at the other end, Ali comes down, pulls up for 3 and knocks it down.
Well, in terms of 3-point range, you know, over the season, the Eagles are the better 3-pointing team, but tonight, Bristol are relying a lot on the 3.
And just to illustrate your point, Fletcher's just missed another 3-point effort. And he has Ali at the other end. Bristol got a 6-point lead, which puts them up 3 points on aggregate. He has Greg Street, who had such a good game on Friday night. Off balance too, but he makes it. Continuing where he left off on Friday night. And suddenly Bristol are up by 8 at 24-16. And Joe Hart getting ready to come into the game for the Eagles as well. The Eagles just look as if they lack a bit of energy at the moment. He has Parks facing up to Udozi. Couldn't get position for the shot, gives it to Berens. Berens finds Lasker in the corner. Lasker knocks down a 3. Lovely work by Christian Berens along the baseline, and a great outlet pass, and Lasker knocked the 3 down, but Bristol was straight down the other end, and Udozi got out on transition and was wide open under the basket and was found and knocked down a 2. 7-point lead to Bristol. Here's Christian Berens, finds Fletcher at the top of the key. Lasker going for 3 again. This one's not so accurate, and Ali picks up the rebound and comes away for Bristol. Shakes and bakes and takes Parks away and gives it back to Boggs. Boggs looking, slight discrepancy on the shot clock. Dozy from a long 2. That isn't his range at all, and Lasker comes up with the rebound. Only about 8 seconds left to go. Fletcher has the ball. He'll go to the basket, and he makes his first 2 of the night. Right on the basket, on the buzzer virtually, and it cuts it 21-26. Again, Eagles defence not as tight as you would expect it to be, and Bristol deservedly 5 points in front at the moment, Dave.
Well, they're probably deservedly 5 points in front. I'm not so sure that I would be too critical of the Eagles defence at the moment. When you've got a player comes out like Brandon Boggs does and single-handedly wants to take on the whole of the Eagles by himself and put that many shots up, then early in the game, you know, you could get a result, and he's got one by scoring 11 points. But the point I'm thinking about, as you were commentating there about the Eagles looking a bit tired, you've got to remember that it's 48 hours between the games, and although each team has got to travel a 5-hour, 6-hour journey, the Eagles have the disadvantage in that they will probably get home about 5 o'clock in the morning from that first one, while Bristol would go to their own bed. So probably a small factor, but I really do expect the Eagles to reverse this trend as it is at the moment in this game.
And just in between quarters, we can have a quick look at the other 3 games that are going on at the moment, and very decisive runs by 2 of the teams. Riders and Surrey, or Scorchers, were tied after their game on Friday night, but no such thing going on today. Riders up by 30 points, 75-45, and there's only 8 seconds left in the third quarter, so Riders look as if they're going to be going through there. And then we have Worcester in a similar sort of position, not quite as far as Head, but it's 70-54 against the Sharks, and with leading by 2 from the first leg, that's them well in front with only 8:44 to go in that game. And at the other one, where London take a 19-point lead into the game, we've got 30 seconds left in the first quarter, and Rocks lead 12-10. So at the moment, it looks like Lions, Wolves and Riders to go through, and anybody in this one game.
I wouldn't count on the Lions because their form's erratic. And I'm just remembering how well Glasgow played against Sheffield when they beat them by 30. So Glasgow are capable of overturning in a big league. I don't expect it, but they are capable.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Meanwhile, we're back on court in Bristol on the offence with Street and Owen in the back court, and Street makes another fantastic move to the basket there and lays it in high off the glass, and Greg Street certainly feeling it in this playoff tie, both legs. There's Dre Parks going for three and showing that rustiness again. He shots well short, and Bristol seem to be picking up every defensive rebound at the moment. There's Ali going in for two, but he doesn't make that, and Christian Berens picks up that rebound.
It goes beyond rustiness, Jeff. He's thrown up two shots that didn't even look like kissing the ring, let alone going in. The Eagles need some teamwork. The Eagles need to get everybody involved in some sort of patterned movement.
There's Christian Berens going to work in the middle. Nice drive in the middle. Bit of a fortuitous shot off the glass, but it's gone in and it'll count, and it's a foul, so he'll go at the line as well.
Might be fortuitous, but actually a lot of the baskets that have been scored in this game at the moment have been tough shots to take that have gone in.
I was lucky enough to be talking to Christian during the week, and he mentioned the fact that he feels a little bit more comfortable these days in the Eagles lineup, and he feels as if he's been trusted a little bit more. Still not playing a huge amount of minutes, but certainly playing minutes at crucial times.
I thought during Darius's absence, I thought he was crucial with the extra minutes he played and the improvement he made in his game.
He makes the free throw, 3-point play. Cuts that gap again. It's 24 to Newcastle and 28 to Bristol, so Bristol lead by 1 point on aggregate. And there's Greg Street now working the ball with Dre Parks all over him, and he finds Smith. Smith going power to the basket, finds Vigo inside. Vigo tries to make the low, misses it, hands everywhere, and the Eagles come up with the offensive rebound, and Parks is fouled by Roy Owen as he tries to drive to the basket.
Yeah, that gifted layup there that Vigo got was probably Bristol's easiest look of the night, and one that they just didn't pull off, and a lot of that was to do with the way the Eagles players surrounded him and kept him under pressure.
Eagles with Parks just outside the 3-point line, and he's drove in the middle, and there's a floater. Nice move by Parks. That's his other. He's I think he has two signature plays, the floater in the middle and the 3-point shot. And the floater definitely come off that time.
Yeah, definitely strong on his floater when he comes, and he's penetrating from the left-hand side as the floor. As you look at the Eagles basket and going on his stronger right hand.
As Roy Owen goes off and Brandon Boggs comes back on, and Aaron Crosby comes on for Leslie Smith as well. Fletcher now with the ball for the Eagles. Chance for them to go back up on aggregate. Dre Parks from the corner was wide open. Christian Berens battling for the rebound there, but battling a little bit too strongly for the referee's liking, giving again a foul for a push.
Yeah, early offense again from the Eagles, but in that case it was a better look and a better executed shot from Parks. Just didn't get the drop.
Score now 28-26, which means the Eagles lead by 1 on aggregate. It's a very, very tight game. Ali again orchestrating for Bristol, turns the corner, finds Vigo with a lovely pass inside. That was a great bit of play from Ali, and Parks fouls Vigo as he makes the layup, so that'll send him to the line for an extra shot. Excellent play by the point guard Hamid Ali. Yeah,
but also excellent play by Vigo. I mean, I looked from the programme notes, and I know that from his previous visit here, we're talking about an Australian, and they are so well drilled in playing without the ball. And he's given us some really fine examples of centre play working without the ball tonight. That's his second, if not third time he's cut in off a pick and roll situation or a drive and a kick. Very smart player at the moment.
Vigo makes the extra point, and once again that puts Flyers back up on aggregate. Got Lasker now bringing the ball up for the Eagles. Fletcher taking a rest, as has Christian Berens, and Olin Jackman and Darius Defoe back on. Not really a surprise to see Defoe on, as he was very effective in that first quarter. Joe Hart driving to the basket, can't make it. Defoe from the free throw line doesn't make it, but Olin Jackman's up for the rebound, but can't get his hands to close around the ball, and Ali picks it up off him. Ali, nice move on Drew Lasker, completely fooled Drew Lasker and drove to the basket and made a 2-point effort.
About fooling Drew Passer, he completely fooled Dre Parks, who made absolutely no attempt to come in and play any weak side defence on the help at all.
There's Lasker now. He's trying to go at the basket, but well guarded by Brandon Boggs. Shot clock counting down as Olin Jackman tries to turn and go. Again, it's short, but Darius Defoe, great offensive rebound and a foul by Greg Street as Darius tries to put it back up. He'll go to the line for 2 shots. 7:11 left in the half, and Flyers lead 33-26, which puts them up 4 points on aggregate. Defoe makes the first one. I think at the moment, Dave, we're definitely seeing the impact of that final quarter at Bristol on Friday.
Yep. They're edging it. They deserve to edge it. We need the Eagles to get working that ball a little bit more.
Defoe just makes 1 out of 2.
Create some easier looks for them.
Bristol well controlled and well generaled by Ali, and there's drives in there, and that's, I think, a foul on Drew Lasker as Ali drove to the basket.
I mean, prior to the performance against Leicester in the last home game of the season, just over a week ago, I think fair criticism of the Eagles this year is that their defence, good as it's been at times, hasn't been as consistently tough as teams have had in the past. And right now, the Eagles are allowing too many penetrations to the basket, either with or without the ball.
As Ali makes the first of the free throw. I think that was very noticeable on Friday, and particularly Hamid Ali took over in that final quarter and just seemed to be driving to the basket like it will with nobody to counteract him. He makes both free throws there, keeps Bristol in front.
Well, playoff time, you don't expect any Eagles team from the past to have ever come close to giving up a 33-point lead to win only by 3.
It's a very good point again. Bristol did go into the playoffs in the same sort of form that Eagles were in, as Joe Hart finds Olin Jackman inside. He finds Defoe bumped by Cosby, but still manages to knock the jump shot down inside the arc there, the small arc, and he'll go to the line again for another free throw.
I'm sure Olin Jackman regards himself as a sort of a 3-man, more of a guard forward type, but I'll tell you right now, he's forming a good partnership with Darius Defoe, playing in and around the key.
Defoe very much the man for the Eagles at the moment. This will be 7th trip to the free throw line already, and we've still got 6:39 to go in the half. I mean, he's the only Eagles player that has gone to the... Sorry, Christian Burns did go to the line, knocked a free throw down earlier on. Darius Defoe makes another one, so that's 6 or 7 from the line, and he's up to 13 points personal. Sorry, 16 points personal. But at the other end, that's too easy a look for Hamid Ali, and he doesn't miss shots like that. 14-foot jump shot for a man of his abilities is almost a layup.
Well, he was comfortable on his drive, wasn't he? Under no pressure at all once he pulled up.
So now he finds Parks. Parks trying to come into the middle. And he's hit by Greg Street there as he goes up. Make sure he drew the foul. Didn't make the basket, but he will go at the line for 2 free throws. Bristol lead 37-30 with Parks on the line for 2 shots. Makes the first. And makes the second.
I think Vigor got away with an infringement there because he had a foot on the court when he passed that ball in. The referee was obviously not really looking.
As Leslie Smith goes inside from Boggs' pass, but he can't lay that in, and Eagles defence stood well there and came up with the offensive rebound. Parks drives and Jackman going for three, and all and Jackman knocks down a three from straight away. Brings the crowd to life, and the Eagles back to within 2 on the night and 1 up on aggregate.
I think that's a great point, Jeff, because it was a big shot and the Eagles really needed some points, and he did bring the crowd back in it. Just was able to remind me how quiet the big team have been, the Tower have been tonight.
Yeah, the crowd in the last few games have been really, really good here at home, and I think they've just got to, I hope that it wasn't that sort of resigned thing that they thought, oh, we've just got to turn up here to win, because obviously this Bristol side is very, very tough. And Defoe coming out after picking up a foul there as Leslie Smith drove to the basket.
Well, let's be clear here, Jeff. First of all, point number one is it's no fluke at all that Bristol, we've seen the capabilities in scoring already this game, so it's no fluke that they were able to come back from a 33-point deficit. And people are harping back about this Leicester game and the Sheffield game. Well, it didn't really mean a lot. Of course it did. It meant a heck of a lot to the Eagles to battle their way through those 2 games to finish second. And we're not quite seeing that level of battling tonight, the intensity on the defence.
Again, I totally agree with that. As Leslie Smith knocks down 2 from the 3-4 line. Ramon Fletcher comes back on. Dre Parks takes a seat. Interesting that rather than have Fletcher and Parks out together, where they've been really good together, one subbed up for the other both times. And there's Flanoy going for a 3. That's short, hits the front of the rim, but Eagles anticipating the miss. Jackman came up with a loose ball. Fletcher fires it back to Jackman, and Jackman makes back-to-back threes.
Well, when you're good at catch and shoot, then that's the way to get points in a hurry, because Jackman, both of his last 2, he hasn't even thought about it. He caught the ball straight into his shooting action and hit 2 beautiful threes. And followed it up by really good interior defence.
Yeah, Vigo threw that ball, Boggs threw that ball in, and Jackman was there to make the steal. He gave it to Fletcher. Fletcher goes up the other end, and he's put the Eagles back in front on the night by 1, 40-39. And the Eagles lead by 4 points on aggregate, and suddenly the crowd is back into it. A good patch there for the Eagles, led by Olin Jackman.
Yeah, got back into it, and pretty sure that timeout would be called by Coach Kapoulas, because he was straight off his chair as soon as Fletcher made that 3 to stop this game. Now, Fletcher's a small guy, but he's scoring against much bigger guys. He's been doing it now for 3 years. Don't ask me how or why, but he's really, really difficult to stop when he gets in that particular channel lane going to the basket.
Yeah, it's a great point when you say don't ask me why or don't ask me, because everybody without fail in the league knows exactly what he's going to do, but nobody. You couldn't even say there's one team that's able to stop him.
Well, first of all, he's got a very quick first step, so that gives him the first advantage. Secondly, he always gets his body between the defender and the ball, really gets his body, and he's got such a well-controlled sort of floating left-hand hook type shot. It really is difficult to stop. The answer is you've got to stop him making that first step.
Yeah. Bristol obviously just still 40-39, well in this game, only 4 points down on aggregate. What the Eagles have stopped in this quarter is Brandon Boggs, and also looking at the score is Aaron Cosby, who's the leading scorer, hasn't scored at all, and has only shot the ball once.
Yeah, and interestingly, Scott Martin didn't score many points, even though he played a lot of minutes down there, because he's had a bit of a sort of energy sapping illness, but he's not scoring tonight. But one thing he will not do is he won't give up on his defence. And that right now I think is critical to stopping these Flyers, is keep the tough defence on them. Keep locked on defence.
Fletcher shoots an air ball, Flanoy saves it, but Ali picks the ball up. And he comes down, he shoots a 3 at the end. His shot's short. Great rebound by Mike Vigo. He throws it back out to Cosby. Cosby going for the 3. His shot hits the rim and bounces out, and Scott Martin picks up the rebound on defence and gives it to Fletcher. Fletcher finds Martin in the corner. Martin shooting for 3. misses the shot, but he's fouled in the active shooting, so he'll go to the line for 3 free throws.
Well, I'm puzzled to Bristol's approach following that timeout. I really am, because we know they're good at setting up, distributing her all around, trying to work a good shot. That offense there, Ali came straight down the floor, took Fletcher on, and threw up a really, really tough shot that wasn't advised at all.
And again, Bristol making the change there is Mike Vigo, who's had a really good game so far. He's actually come out, and Greg Street goes back on, and Greg Street, Bristol's captain, been with Bristol all his career and through the EBL days, and certainly proven to be a good BBL player as well.
I can only assume that Coach Kapoulas has rested Vigo, because he's played a lot of minutes up to now and he's really worked his socks off, but he has played so well without the ball that they need to find somebody else who's going to do that same role.
Scott Martin makes 1 of 2. It was actually a 2-point shot. I thought it was a 3-point shot that he was fouled on, but he must have had a foot on the line, so he's had 2 free throws and he just makes 1 of the 2. There's Ali again at the other end. He finds Cosby. Cosby looking for a screen from Smith, gets one. Smith slips the screen, but Jackman's back to defend him. Smith going hard on Jackman, and there's good defense from Jackman, forces a travel from Leslie Smith.
Well, before that travel was called, I was just about to say Smith's provided that sort of inside threat and movement around the key that Vigor had. Obviously, he just wasn't able to execute. They kept him under pressure and forced the travel out of him.
Crowd noise really going up here as Martin back to Fletcher, but Fletcher cannot make that 3-point shot at the moment. Cosby takes the rebound, brings it up. Again looking for Leslie Smith to set the screen. He goes round Smith and drives into the basket, and he makes his first 2 points of the game. Tough drive to the basket and a nice floater. It's Fletcher now for the Eagles coming forward. Scores on the night, tied at 41-all. Joe Hart shoots a long 3, which again fails to drop for the Eagles, and Greg Street picks up the rebound. He finds Ali immediately. Ali finds Boggs. Boggs looking for Smith inside. He finds him. Smith, oh, nice turn against, lovely turn against Olin Jackman. He missed the first shot, but he got the rebound and lays it back in. And I think Eagles may want to have a timeout to talk about it. Yep, they certainly do.
Well, what they've got to talk about is making more passes in offense to create better opportunities and getting the defense around the key much stronger and tougher than it is, because that is not normally an Eagles' weakness. But tonight, Bristol are having not a field day, because obviously it's a close game, but they are having a lot of good looks that they shouldn't be getting in and around the key and setting up as well. There's nobody under real pressure when they're setting up.
At some stats from the game, and Brandon Boggs, he's up to 11 points, but he hasn't scored in this quarter. And Hamid Ali on 11, Mike Vigo on 9. That's for Bristol, and for the Eagles, Darius Defoe, the outstanding one, with 16 points, and then Fab Flanoy on 5 and Olin Jackman on 5.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I thought Jackman would have had more points, and I think he could be a big factor in this game, because he's got, although he's more of a perimeter player, he does have the length to bother that Bristol team when he gets inside in partnership with Darius Defoe.
Yeah, that's actually, looking at that, Dave, it's a good point, because I think what the scorers have done there is they've given Fab Flanoy a 3-point shot, which belongs to Olin Jackman. So I think Olin should be on 8, Fab should be on 2. And that's, I think, certainly the case on the actual scoreboard in the arena, but not on the BBL stats from the official statistician.
Yeah, because he had two good threes. Yeah,
two threes in a row.
Yeah, and he's had at least one offensive rebound and a putback.
So at the moment it's the Eagles on offense. Fletcher trying to find somebody inside. He gives it to Martin, who's guarded by Boggs, who got a hand in there. Martin trying to get up and just misses, but there's another great offensive rebound by... Yeah, great offensive rebound by Jackman. He recycled to Martin. Martin gave it to Fletcher. Fletcher saw Parks on Mark, and Parks knocked down a big 3.
And do you know what the key to that was, Jeff? 2 wing-to-wing swings involving every player in the team, including a lot of screening.
Exactly what you were talking about before,
yep.
Dave. Like, more passes than required. And at the other end, we've had Ali, who's gone straight down the other end and took a tough shot on his own. This Park's really coming to life now. He's gone coast to coast. Slightly contradicting what the point I was trying to make was Ali went 1-on-1 or 1-on-5 and didn't make it, whereas the Eagles had passed the ball around. But Parks did see a gap there and took it well.
He had every right to take that drive, didn't he? Because nobody came over to block him off on the route to bat. He had every right to take that drive.
Smith working hard against Orland Jackman and manages to make a 2-pointer off the glass. And the game was still very close, and here's Parks again feeling it, but that one's well short and picked up by Cosby.
Why would you follow an offense that's really worked for you by one that doesn't work?
Again, Cosby goes 1-on-1 that time, and here's Martin trying to get to the basket, but sensibly comes back out, finds Parks open. He's missed his 3 again, and Cosby comes away again with the rebound. Bristol not quite playing team ball in offense, but they're certainly doing well on the defensive end and rebounding. There's Leslie Smith. I would think that's a range that he's not used to as well.
No, and the Eagles will be saying let him have that shot from there.
Inside the last minute, and Eagles lead 46-45, and Fletcher really did seem to get bumped there, but referees called nothing, and Cosby in transition at the other end makes it away. Flournoy looking very upset. I'm not sure if he's upset with the referee or whether he's upset with Orland Jackman.
Well, if he's upset with Orland Jackman, I'll give you a clue. The last 2 offences, when the shot has gone up and not gone in, Orland Jackman simply has not tracked back on defence. He has not got back in transition defence, and that's something that every Eagles player needs to be sprinting back on defence to make sure that they're not getting easy baskets in transition.
I think from the Eagles' point of view, you look at it here, with 30 seconds to go in the half, and they've conceded 47 against a team that only scores 77 a game, and they conceded 94 against Bristol on Friday. And whilst you've got to give Bristol an awful lot of credit for finding that extra firepower to get those points, it's tantamount to what we've been seeing. The Eagles' defence not quite as dominant as it has been in previous years.
No, and possibly, your point you made before about fatigue. I mean, this is a playoff game. The 2 clubs are 300 miles apart or whatever, and it's, they're talking the Premiership football about how hard it is to make these long away trips and what have you, and particularly when they have to trot off to Europe. And it's not much time when you think of how late it was when the Eagles got back. It's not that much time, and how early Bristol would have to set off. Then you can expect me a little bit of fatigue, but the emotion of a playoff game, should overcome that. As one of the great American NFL coaches once said, tiredness is not an excuse.
Yeah, totally agree with you there, Dave. And last 30 seconds of the half, and so Eagles with the ball at their end line, so it's a 24-second offense coming up, which if they run the clock, and it looks like they're going to run the clock, certainly they're going to look for a good shot, and Flournoy is playing the point. He brings the ball forward, he gives it to Parks to Jackman, back to Flournoy. Eagles moving and cutting, trying to find one. That's a lovely pass inside from Flournoy. Martin unable to make the layup there, and Bristol now have got a chance with 6 seconds to go. I think Ali looks like he's going to put up a 3 here. Yeah, absolutely, and he doesn't make it. There's any other thought in his mind there, was there, David, than putting that up for a 3-point shot, and it doesn't make it. And so what we have at the half is we have Bristol up by 47-46, which means they've got a 1-point lead on the night, but they're still 2 points down on aggregate. But it's, again, with 20 minutes to go, really, really well poised game, and it could still go either way.
It is. It's very competitive, and it's so hard to predict, because you can't really predict, how these players are playing, because one moment they come down, they're executing good team ball, creating good-looking shots. The next minute, you've got somebody who really wants to take it on an individual basis, just as Ali did there. But of course, you could argue, well, he was watching the clock, and it was at the end of the game, and why not?
So we'll leave Bristol 47, Newcastle 46, and we'll be back with the second half shortly.
Just grab one of your Chuck Ducks, or you can also get a Sports Club raffle ticket. Both could win you one of those Fire Sticks later on tonight. Wish you the best of luck.
turnaround dribble, but they've got it back. Good pass, it runs long. 4 minutes remaining, the clock is counting down quickly. It could be one great shot that wins it all tonight. But who will it come from? Look out, we've got a power dribble. Onto the middle, down the baseline, no jumper. Rocks the ring, stays out, back in the air. Window doesn't open. Back up, drop short. Seaton Bundini out the ball, cross court, what a steal. Keeps the ball alive. Takes too many steps on the drive. We're in the final 3 minutes. Can anyone find the basket? It might just go. Oh boy! Oh man, what a shot from outside. Seaton Bundini from Sunderland with a long two. Takes the lead. Will they be crowned champions? 2.5 minutes remaining, but they picked it up again. Seaton Bundini moving around. They're looking to protect it, but they've lost the ball. Here come onto the middle, off the window, stays closed. Seaton Bundini got the rebound, but took too many steps. We're in the final 2 minutes. 2 minutes to hold on, or 2 minutes to find the tie ball. It's in the paint, good jumper. Oh, window stay closed. What a break, good defense, spin round, turn around, puts it down. Seaton Bundini from Sunderland, little spin move, put it off the window and it went good. Inside the final 90, the championship trophy is getting polished, the medals are out of the cases, the champions will be crowned very shortly. Oh, in and out, but they got the rebound, they just can't find the net. We get a travel, 60 seconds remaining. Onto the middle, have the ball. They get the ball, the loose one, it's in the paint. It's in the off, bounces wrong, it's up there. Still cannot find it. We're in the final 60 seconds. As Seaton Byrne look for a third basket. Just can't find it. Onto the middle, have the ball. They need to find a basket. Just steps out of the line. We're in the final 25. The ball is in the hand of Seaton Sunderland. It's in the air, it's off. For the third time tonight, they've gone round the basket. We're in the final 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hold the count. We're on 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold it there. We have a champion for 2017, Seaton Bundini.
Central. What a tournament it has been. This started way back earlier on in the year with our Hoops for Health regional finals from right across the northeast. This year, more than ever before, 117 Hoops for Health road shows delivered, with almost 2,500 young people taking part in the tournaments to get us down to our finals, which we played in a round robin earlier on this evening. These teams are absolutely fantastic, so please make loads of noise for them. In 6th place from the round robin earlier tonight, the champions of North Tyneside. Please welcome St. Columbus. In 5th place, champions of Gateshead, Brook Hill. Managing Director of our Newcastle Eagles Basketball Club and Chairman of the Eagles Community Foundation, Paul Blake, presenting the players with commemorative pictures from their championship game. And now, please make some noise in 4th place from Newcastle, Cuthbert Junior High. They were last year's winners, but they came 3rd this year. Put your hands together for South Tyneside champions, St. Bees. They took 3rd place last year, but they made it all the way to the final, just missed out by the dominant winners. But please put your hands together for our runners-up, Ponteal and Middle.
Okay, and welcome back everybody to Sports Central Northumbria University for the second half of tonight's playoff game, which is really well and very delicately balanced at the moment. Bristol leading by 1 point on the night at 47-46, but the Eagles leading by 2 points on aggregate. And looking at the other playoff scores, this is the one where it really is still going down to the wire. We look at the other ones. If I can just bring you up to date. Worcester Wolves were cruising against Sheffield, seemed to be no problems at all, and then Sheffield produced a fantastic final quarter of 30-16 to come all the way back, but unfortunately they didn't get all the way back. They lost on the night by 2, which meant they lost by 4 on aggregate, so that puts Worcester through to the semi-finals. And the other one, which probably a bit more predictable, even though Surrey did fantastically well on Friday night against Leicester, they found it too tough today to repeat that, and Riders went through by 94-58, so they make the semi-finals as well. And currently at the last game up there in Glasgow, we have the Lions are leading 33-32 at half time, which means they're up 20 points on aggregate. And again, I could call that one saying, well, if Lions go through, that would mean they would be the lowest seeds, unless of course Bristol do go through. So there's still a lot to be sorted out, but what we do know is that Worcester and Leicester are through, and they've cemented their places in the semi-finals, and they'll wait to see who wins the last 2 games.
Yeah, what we also know, it's a very tense affair here, because neither team is playing anywhere near the best that they can play. That's probably more in Bristol's favour than it is in the Eagles' flair, and we obviously know that the Eagles are capable of going on a strong third quarter, because we had a close affair here with Bristol much earlier in the season where the Eagles ran away with it in the third quarter. The fact that they were able to establish such a big lead down at Bristol, but what we need is a little bit better execution from both teams, and a little bit less of individual players trying to win this game by their own efforts.
Yeah, looking at the field goal percentages, the Eagles are down at 38% overall, which is made up of 44 from the 2-point range and 26% from 3-point range. And Bristol, similarly, they're actually a little bit higher at 46%, which is 53% inside and 22% outside. Both teams shooting the free throw well. Bristol 7 for 7 and Eagles 10 from 12. Eagles have 23 rebounds and Bristol have 19, so not a lot in it there. On the turnovers, remarkably, looking at the turnovers, Eagles have only got 1 turnover in the whole game, and Bristol have only got 5.
Yeah, I think the paint could play a big part in this second half, Jeff. That and if it is, and Jackman and Defoe are both operating the paint in the way they did in stretches in the first half, I favour the Eagles, because I think although Jackman, likes to pop out and catch in three, and he did that very well on 2 occasions, he's also proving a handful getting the ball off the glass and trying to get his own effort back, and particularly when he's working that sort of high-low and side-to-side situation with Darius Defoe. And clever as Vega has been off the ball, he's much more of a flair player and a touch player than he is where Smith can really battle and can hurt the Eagles by pressuring his way into the basket. So very, very, very interesting this second half that we're going about to look forward to, and we'll start shortly.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make there about Orlin Jackman, because actually he is the Eagles' leading rebounder this season. Shade over 7 and a quarter, and Darius Defoe just under 7. So it's not much in it, but you would normally expect to see Darius leading the Eagles in rebounds, and I think sometimes that just shows that he can be a little bit underestimated. Orlin Jackman as a rebounding force.
Well, don't underestimate him, because he's got the tools, he's got length, and he can really get up in a hurry off the ground to hunt down a rebound, and he's very, very sneaky the way he comes in from the wings as well to try and challenge on the offensive boards.
The Eagles doing a pretty good job on the boards there, because Bristol are actually ranked second in the league in rebounds, and people like Leslie Smith and Daniel Edozie, and they're up there. Leslie Smith almost 8 rebounds a game, and Daniel Edozie 7 rebounds a game, and even Michael Vigo nearly 7 a game. So they do have a lot of good interior size who can take rebounds.
Yeah, I think ball movement's going to play a big part in this second half, particularly if fatigue does set in. Bristol are very good at it, and the Eagles have shown in some spells in the first half, particularly that one that ended up with Parks knocking down a 3. Those 2 wing-to-wing swings really opened up the Bristol defence, and I'd like to see the Eagles doing more of that. And I'd like to see the Bristol Flyers play the way I like to see them play, in terms of a lot of ball movement, everybody working hard off the ball, and we could have a really good second half. Great start for the Eagles.
Yeah, great start from the Eagles. Flournoy finding Defoe, and Defoe knocking down a 14-foot jump shot to take himself up to 18 points personal. Having a really big game, Darius Defoe, and again, Eagles trying to establish Darius early on. There's a foul on Scott Martin as Leslie Smith tried to go to the basket, just caught him on the arm as he went past. One of the things noticeable in this game, obviously, is the form that Ramon Fletcher's been in over the last few weeks. He's been red hot, but he's been held at the moment quiet. He's only got 4 points. He has got 6 assists, so his assists ratio is still right up there, but he's scoring, he's not so much at the moment.
Watch out, Bristol, because we all know he's capable of recovering from that sort of situation and being a real handful.
Smith there, great defense from Darius Defoe. Smith trying turned 2 or 3 different ways, but Defoe wasn't having anything of it. There's a foul from Vega. knocked Orlin Jackman off, and Orlin Jackman was well off balance. The foul had already been called, and made a circus shot from the corner, and he was asking for it to be called, but the foul had been already called long before that.
2,500 people in the Sports Centre arena all demanding that we introduce the NBA rule continuity there. No, clearly on the floor. Good refereeing decision.
From Ryan into Defoe, he's on one-on-one with Smith, just misses it, and Jackman gets hands to it, which means Flournoy can come up and grab it. Plays one. Oh, that's well short from Fletcher. It was very tentative almost, and Bristol come away with the ball from the defensive rebound. It's Boggs to Smith. Jackman trying to get onto Cosby. Cosby shakes him away and gets the ball. He gives it to Viga, who comes round a couple of screens and finds Boggs inside. Boggs back out to Viga. Shot clock ticking down. Ali comes back out to Cosby. Cosby for 3, and that's just short. Cosby saves it.
Wow, what an effort to chase down the ball.
It was a great effort indeed.
Oh.
Not only did he chase it down, he managed to find his point guard Ali, who then found Smith, who was on the free throw line unmarked, and he knocked that down and was still with that 1 point lead to Bristol on the night.
Yeah, great credit to Bristol. They earned that 1 point lead because they chased a lost cause down and then really moved the ball well to create an open look.
And at the other end, we had Defoe trying to back Smith down, but then Fletcher made a really good cut to the basket, and Defoe found him with a lovely little layoff, and Fletcher was fouled as he tried to get to the basket. Holding his left wrist, looks in a little bit of pain, but he's standing on the line waiting to take the ball, stretching the fingers out.
Very early in the second half, Jeff, but there's one thing for certain where there's an equality here is both these teams are making it hard for the other one to play to any sort of rhythm.
Yeah, I think it's very much a scrappy game. Neither side, as you say, neither side finding a rhythm, but there's 2 from 2 from the line for Fletcher, who keeps the good free throw shooting going.
Yep.
Eagles back up by 1 on the night and 4 on aggregate. As Viga finds Ali. I think you get the impression with the way the game's been playing, there's an awful lot of basketball left in this one, and there's Viga, nice fakes the 3 and steps inside for the 2. Jackman does well to get up. He palms it off to Defoe, to Fletcher. Martin for 3. Scott Martin's shooting touch just seems to have deserted him at the moment. That one doesn't go down. Bristol again coming away with the rebound. Viga going to the basket, very conscious of Orland Jackman in front of him, but he should have been aware of Flanoy coming behind him.
What a
who
block.
swatted it away fantastically
What a
well.
block.
That was help defence at its very best.
It
I
was.
think, Dave.
Well, it was impressive all round, wasn't it? It was a great block shot. And he's done it again.
Cosby going up 2 or 3 times, and the Eagles really battling to get that ball. There's Jackman at the other end now. He finds Flanoy. Flanoy finds Martin inside. Martin, that's his favourite shot, his fadeaway jump shot, and that one rolls across the rim and drops down. And Scott Martin puts the Eagles up by 3 on the night and 6 on aggregate. And Orland Jackman, good hands again, hassling, not allowing Boggs to take that ball.
Well, that'll be a welcome sight for the Eagles and particularly the coaching staff. See Scott Martin getting inside and getting the ball where he's so effective.
Again,
You know, he's good at knocking down the open 3 at the end of ball movement, and he's also very good at getting inside, cutting in from the wings into that sort of medium range shot away from the hoop, just above the charge, no charge circle. Yeah.
well, that was an interesting no call, wasn't it?
I'd like to see where his feet were, but it looked like a charge.
It looked like a charge as Smith went in strong on Orland Jackman and flattened him, but in tried to dunk the ball, but missed the basket altogether. And then the ball.
Really nice to see, isn't it, when referees talk to players? You know, Fab went politely over. Surely that was a charge referee, and obviously the referee explained the reason for his decision.
I think looks like Flanoy's got a little bit of a problem with his hand, but he's a little bit of blood on there because he's been asked to be substituted out by the referee, and Dre Parks comes in place of him. Obviously that increases the Eagles' offensive threat, but somewhat diminishes the defence.
Well, I'm not surprised he's got a problem with his right hand. It's working overtime on blocking shots.
Here's Leslie Smith again up against Defoe. Nice cut by Greg Street, who's come on, but a great defensive stand by Scott Martin, the one side of his game which never seems to drop off.
First signs, Jeff, that the Eagles' defence is really toughening up, and that's unfortunate. They called it a moving screen on Darius because it was a brilliant screen to get Orland Jackman open for a wide open 3, but give the benefit of doubt to the referees. They know better than me what the rules are on moving screens.
Yeah, and they're a bit closer to the action as well. But I guess anybody listening to this will probably say, "Oh, well, that's just Jeff King. He's biased." But I thought it was a good screen as well. But here we have Bristol coming forward again, and interesting that they made that substitution that Greg Street came on for Cosby, because Greg Street obviously tends to be more of a team player, although there again he's gone one-on-one just as I was about to say that, and made a very poor floater, which is missed.
Why do players try the hard, impossible moves when there's easier options available?
For instance, there's a great bit of play by the Eagles. Scott Martin had a chance possibly to back somebody down, but he spotted Defoe at the elbow completely free and fired it into Defoe, and Defoe dropped the 2-point in, takes him up to 20 points. Yes, Smith again from that range, that not always comfortable for him, but that one he does knock down and brings it back to a 3-point game, 6 points on aggregate.
We better retract our earlier statement about giving him the freedom to shoot from outside.
Well,
I mean, until that went in, it was a 5-point deficit, Jeff, and that whole 5 points difference was down to how easy the Eagles are getting the ball into the paint and how difficult it is for Bristol to get it into the paint at the other end.
That's a third foul call there on Leslie Smith as Defoe tried to get to the basket.
Third team foul for Bristol as well, only halfway through the quarter.
Eagles ran a really good inbound play there, but and Scott Martin was completely free, but Boggs got across to block him fantastically well. And Eagles got back on defense well, and Vigo looked as if he was going to go make a layup, but adjudged to have travelled.
Yeah, there used to be a day way back in the past, didn't there, when you could catch the ball on the run and do your 1-2 step, but you can't do that under the current rules.
There's Fletcher working the top of the key, knocks that one down. Just signs here, just a few little signs as Eagles move up into a 5-point lead. Bristol could well come down, of course, and cut that gap straight away. Not finding it so easy to get inside. There's Boggs. Boggs will go against Fletcher. That was a mismatch, massive mismatch, and Boggs was able to lay it in. Yeah,
he took immediate advantage, didn't he? Caught the ball, saw he had the height advantage, and just took it straight in on Fletcher, who really didn't have a chance to try and stop that. And probably be good that he didn't pick up a foul in the process.
There's Fletcher now at the other end, faced by Ali. Oh, he finds the gap, and unusually for him, when he finds a gap like that, he normally knocks those ones down, but he didn't knock that one down. But Defoe came to his rescue with the offensive rebound. Parks.
You know, we obviously won't see a replay of that, but we saw everything about Fletcher there we talked about in the first half. He beat that guy on a fake, quick crossover and a great first step.
Just unfortunately didn't finish it, but what they have done, Eagles, by recycling that ball, is they've picked up another foul on Hamid Ali. Bristol already up to 3 fouls, 4:40 left in the third period. Eagles just shading this one at the moment. He has Parks, he'll go all the way to the basket and makes a great drive and rail. I think Darius Defoe played a good part in that in the middle, setting the screen, but great recognition from Parks. And Street to the other end again, tries to drive in on a couple of Eagles players who are taller, and he hasn't made it. Fletcher comes back, he finds Parks. Parks' 3 doesn't go in. Jackman tries to make it, he can't quite make it. If that 3 had gone in, Bristol would have been struggling a wee bit, but as it is, the gap's still only 5 points on the night, which makes it 8 on aggregate. Bristol still well in this with 4:15 to go in the third quarter.
Just for a moment there, I thought Darius Defoe had hurt his hand, but he seems to have picked himself up and got back onto the game.
Flanoy coming back any minute now. He's on the subs bench there. Again, Ali going hard. Oh, he's saved by the referee a little bit there. There's a foul.
Well,
call on 23 all in Jackman.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm going to give you a different interpretation on that. I think it wasn't a good move, but he was bailed out by the fact that the Eagles really didn't need to commit that foul. He was under pressure, he was off balance, was not going to have a clean look, and he got bailed out by the foul.
Ali going to the line for 2, 80% plus free throw shooter, so you'd expect him to make these 2. Knocks the first one down, keeps the Bristol Flyers perfect from the line at the moment. 8 for 8 they are now. That 9 from 9. Excellent free throw shooting both sides at the moment. Defoe's come out of the game, and Flanoy's come on for the Eagles. Parks shooting a 3 from way downtown again, not going down. That is his shot, but you have to question in a tight game like this whether he should be taking that sort of shot. And at the other end, Bristol got the ball up to the Dozy, who does seem to get out very quickly on transition, and he was fouled, I think, by Scott Martin.
Classic fast break. Ball in the hands of your point guard. 1 pass down to the rim runner. We'd probably say that was a good foul by the Eagles, otherwise it'd been an uncontested layup.
And again, it's Bristol Eagles are some really good stands here and making Bristol take some very, very tough shots.
Yep.
It's pretty much the same at the other end though. And there's Scott Martin with that trademark fadeaway jump shot.
Wow, he was under pressure from all sides, but what a clean hit.
Boggs turns down the three, finds a Dozy inside, but Martin at the other end doing his defensive duty, great stand, and whether it's a block or a steal, he's come away with the ball and he's giving it to Parks. Parks finds Flanoy. Flanoy looked as if he wanted to get things moving quickly. Martin for three, doesn't make it, but there's a brilliant offensive rebound by Olin Jackman, who finds Parks outside. Parks' 3-point shot short again. Eagles lead by 5 and Bristol just hanging on a little bit at the moment. There's Ali finding the Dozy inside again. And this time it's a foul by Flanoy inside on the Dozy. The thing about the Dozy there, he's caught 2 balls, Dave, in great position, but he hasn't made the layups.
I don't understand why the Eagles are going on about the pressure. Well, yeah, pressure on the ball helps in those situations, but the fact is the guys under the basket left him wide open to receive those 2 passes.
Yeah. So Dozy on the line. Can he keep Bristol's 100% record going? Yep, the first one thought about it, but it did go down.
Crawler crawled in, didn't it? He got the look of the bounce there.
I mean, to be fair to Dozy, he's not renowned for his free throw shooting, but I think he's knocked 3 of 3 down so far tonight. And there's that first miss in the second one, and Flanoy comes up with a big rebound under pressure from Leslie Smith. He finds Fletcher. Jackman was free for a second there, but he has Martin shooting 3 from way downtown, and that's a 3-point effort from Scott Martin. And 63 to 56, that takes Eagles 7 on the night and 10 on aggregate. First time for a long time they've managed to put a little bit of daylight between the 2 sides.
Well, penetrating kick, ball movement.
Yes, Boggs for 3
It's
to
good.
reply. Great
Wow,
reply
good
from
shot,
Boggs.
good shot. I'm just going to say penetrating ball movement is what can take the Eagles home in this game. And pretty much from the Bristol point of view, he's getting that ball inside because they've been doing it really well.
It's a good shot from Boggs there. Joe Hart's come on now for the Eagles. So now finding Martin. Martin slightly off balance, but he finds Jackman, who comes round, and his 2-point efforts doesn't make it. Ali comes forward and again looking to go himself. This time he does make it. Went totally by himself again, and this time he made it, and he was fouled in the act of shooting by Fab Flanoy. Makes the basket, cuts it to 2 points, and if he makes this free throw, that'll be 1 point, and it means the Eagles aggregate leads back down to 4. Good run by Bristol in response.
Exactly. If we were in any doubt at all, they're not going away. They're here to play, they're here to stay, and they're going to remain competitive in this game to try and cause a huge upset in the first round of the playoffs.
Ali, as you would expect with a free throw shooter of his caliber, knocks that one down, and we're back to a 1-point Eagles lead on the night. 4 points on aggregate.
Well, just as we're thinking the Eagles might have just created a bit of open water there, the Flyers immediately find a way to get back into it.
Fletcher answers at the other end, and he's starting to get into these positions. Boggs' shot is short. Great screening by Flanoy, which allows Hart to pick up the rebound. Here's Fletcher again at the other end, and that's another lane for Fletcher. And again, he looks at the referees thinking it should have been an and 1, but 2 quick baskets by Ramon Fletcher, and he's suddenly up to 12 points. Inside the last minute now of the third quarter, Ali going for 3. That one's off, and unfortunately Joe Hart looked as if he had just juggled that one and had gone free, but it's come off the foot of Daniel Adozi, and that's Eagles end-line ball. 55 seconds to go. Eagles up by 5 on the night. Ball in the hands of Fletcher, who scored the last 2 baskets of the game and just looks as if he's warming to his task a little bit at the moment. Flanoy gives him a screen at the top of the 3-point line, and Bristol recover well. And it's Hart back finding Fletcher. Fletcher finds Laskan, who's come on. Laskan's 3-point was virtually in and then decided to come back out. 30 seconds ago. Hamid brings it forward. Straightforward 3-point shot. Knocks it down. Hamid Ali really getting into this game now. 17 points. Now that's got to be...
No, referee's telling him
to get up.
no way you're getting a call for that.
I was just thinking it should have been a flop, and there you go. Fletcher trying again. Fletcher trying to find a penetration, couldn't find a penetration. Standing at the offensive end, looking very, very frustrated at the referee's call. But Ali had a chance to just cut that gap right the way down, but his shot just come off. And we have a point with 10 minutes to go. The Eagles lead by 2 points on the night and 5 points on aggregate. So it's still anybody's game.
It is, and we can't forget the 3-point advantage the Eagles have. But at the moment, neither team can establish superiority. It looked like Ali was going to have a little run there. There was a moment when Dorsey and Smith were getting on inside. Darius had his moments, Scott hit a few, but then Fletcher brought, the Eagles back and looked like he was taking them away again. But nobody's establishing a clear advantage at all in this game. There's still everything to play for with 10 minutes left on the game clock, final quarter.
Just looking up there in Glasgow as well, Dave, it's what you were saying about that. If any team can come back again for 19, it could be the Rocks against Lions, and they've actually pulled back to within 9 points on aggregate. They lead by 10 on the night, 59-49, and there's still 7.5 minutes to go in that game. So
yeah, and I guess looking at those stats you've just brought up there, the key was that 21-12 advantage from the third quarter. That's 9 points, yeah. And now add another 2 to it, so all of a sudden they're going on a little bit of a run there up at the Emirates in Glasgow.
Looks like Neil Watson being the man to get that run going. He's on 19 points now. And he's actually got 7 from 7 from the free throw line. But we'll come back to that one, obviously, as hopefully by the end of the night, because that'll sort out the playoff picture. But in this one, we've got 10 minutes to go, and still anybody's game. And Bristol deserve an awful lot of credit for the way they've played and kept the Eagles at bay, and I think at times have disrupted the Eagles' rhythm very much so. Yeah,
but I think if I'm right in thinking there, Darius Defoe was on the bench towards the end of that, on the end of that quarter, and I thought that was probably why the Eagles couldn't for definite and establish an advantage and show that they could pull away in this game. So yeah, full marks to Bristol, and I think all our talk about execution, and that's completely irrelevant now. This is down to emotions. It's down to playoff mentality, and each of these teams is going to show that they're going to battle right to this final whistle to try and get the win in this game.
And this is where people talk about like experience and things like that. And if you look at the Eagles, everyone apart, they've got 4 guys out there on the court who've got a lot of playoff experience, but really I think that doesn't really count. It's really who can make the plays, who's the more determined, who's the most committed, and they're exactly what I'm talking about. Is Aaron Cosby very committed to drive to the basket and make that shot, and he's levelled the game up on the night at 67-all.
Yeah, he's capable of hitting points in a hurry, and he's been relatively quiet tonight, but he certainly came to life there.
And just what Dave was saying there before, we have Darius Defoe back on the court, and he works his way inside and makes a lovely 2 points.
I can see the Eagles making the adjustment to stop, Hamid hitting his 3. I can see the Eagles making the adjustment to stop that ball into the paint. I'm not sure I can see the Flyers making the adjustment that's going to stop Darius Defoe.
There's Cosby again going. There's a Dorsey from virtually 3-point range, and that isn't his range at all. And somehow Fletcher's come up with that ball, but Bristol got hands in again, and Fletcher just knocked it out. But Eagles will be quite happy to see a Dorsey shooting from virtually the 3-point line.
They will, yeah. Yeah, and the Flyers won't be happy to see Eagles trying to focus on getting the ball inside to Darius Defoe.
There's a Dorsey, he hands off to Ali. Flanoy on Ali, but Ali blows past Flanoy, but his floater doesn't go in this time, and Defoe and Flanoy combine to take the rebound, give it to Fletcher. Fletcher looking for a long 2, and he makes it. Puts Eagles up by 4.
Yeah, big points for the Eagles, but I think one thing there is Fab's doing a heck of a job of cleaning up anything that's not taken cleanly off the Eagles' glass.
Hamid Ali certainly tried to force things now, and he's just missed another one. And Eagles, Lasker it was this time, who came up the rebound, and Fletcher turning and twisting inside. And I think he's been fouled by Brandon Boggs as he's tried to get to the basket. Foul on the floor though, so Eagles will get end-line ball. Dozie comes off and Leslie Smith goes back on.
Much as I'd like to see this Eagles swinging this ball around, Fletcher is causing problems at the moment on his penetration. He's drawing fouls from a multiple number of players, particularly the ones who are not as quick as him.
Flying bounce to Defoe, who has Smith on him. He finds Joe Hart. Joe Hart gives it back into Defoe. Oh, Defoe somehow came through 3 players there and was just about to go up to the basket and was fouled. And I think this time it was Brandon Boggs again.
What you want from all your big guys, Jeff, not often mentioned, but footwork. That was great footwork that got Darius Defoe rid of his defender and put him in a chance to go for the basket.
The foul was actually on Leslie Smith, and that's Leslie Smith's 4th foul. And Coach Kapoulis went to his bench immediately and brought Mike Vega on, but he didn't actually take Smith off. He's took Greg Street off, and Flyers back to the starting 5 at the moment.
Well, that's a gamble because I think Smith's power is going to be a factor. It's a gamble that he stays on, but it's obviously one that Kapoulis thinks, he's thinking there was no use to me on the bench in a tight situation like this.
Yeah,
so we'll see that works out.
Yeah, playoff basketball, isn't it, David?
Yep.
You've got to take that chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And looking at Darius Defoe, who's now up to 24 points, he's the man really the Flyers have got to stop at the moment.
Yeah, and with Vigor and Smith on the floor, they have a greater chance of doing that.
Be interesting to see if that opens the court up for Fletcher a bit more. He has Cosby going really well, and he's barreled straight into Drew Lasker, who had got a great position. That's a real good veteran player there by Drew Lasker, and he draws the foul on Cosby, who is a rookie professional, so there was a bit of experience over inexperience.
Yeah, he got himself in a good position, but there was clearly no way to basket, so it's kick or pull up.
Eagles inbound to Fletcher. Fletcher bringing the ball up closely. Time definitely in the Eagles' favour. Well, if that had gone in, Bristol could only have himself to play. Could nobody pick Fletcher up at all and left him wide open for the 3. And there's Cosby going driving in again, almost loosely this time. Flanoy though is called for the block.
Yeah, I think that was, to me, it looked like a travel, but I think the contact was made before. I think the referee's quite right to call that a blocking foul and to put him on the line.
I think it was the right call, undoubtedly, but it's that 1-in, 1-out basketball.
It looked like it shuffled, didn't it? It looked like he shuffled into Fab, but
again, as soon as Cosby got that ball, there was no other thought in his mind in the arm going to the basket.
Yeah.
He makes the free throw though. There's certainly a lot of talent in this Bristol team, but as you say, not necessarily an Andreas Kapoulis team. They do seem to play with a lot of individuality at times. But they're still in this game, very much so. Only 5 points down on the night and 8 points overall on aggregate. There's Fletcher now coming forward for the Eagles. Joe Hart getting a nice stint. Fletcher from the corner for 3. And he celebrates that one, waves to the crowd, and the crowd get behind him. Eagles up by 7, again back up by double figures on the night.
Hard place to defend the corner, Jeff. All the play was on one side of the floor, and Fletcher drifts to the corner. Good ball reversal, very difficult to stop.
And there's Vigo missing a layup at the other end, and Darius Defoe taking an offensive rebound. Back to Fletcher. Fletcher fancies another 3. This time he's short, but a fantastic offensive rebound by Drew Lasker, but he just fails to put it back, and Vigo takes the second chance. Ali out to Cosby. Cosby stepped on the line. No good. Eagles just seem to have cranked the defense up just a
it is. That was one of Bristol's smarter plays of the night. I mean, Ali, good penetration, but he realised the way to the basket wasn't on. He had his head up, good vision. It's just unfortunate for that Crosby hadn't noticed where the sideline was. Sorry, Cosby.
And Eagles bringing Dre Parks on for Ramon Fletcher with a 7-point lead and 6.5 minutes to go. Probably just trying to give Fletcher a couple of minutes breather so he can come back and finish the game. As Parks turns the corner and drives determinedly to the basket. Doesn't make it, but Flanoy doing what Flanoy's done for so many years. Great offensive rebound. Eagles work the ball free to Hart, who shoots the three, but it doesn't go. And Leslie Smith comes up with the rebound. He finds Ali. Leslie Smith going to go driving in. And again, a fantastic stand by both Flanoy and Laskin, and no call. And Smith has a word with the referee. Thought that was a blocking foul, but
Well,
no
I thought,
call.
if anything, he thought it was a charge.
A great steal though by Ali at the other end. He found Smith.
Travel,
That's a
surely.
travel, yeah. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Just
I'll give you the benefit that Davey Scott there just before me, but I think it was.
Did he?
no,
Okay,
yeah,
then,
yeah,
right,
I think
right, yeah,
you,
just-
you definitely got there before me, but I think we
Yeah,
both definitely
you know,
agree.
I like to dig these statements up from the way back in the past. You know, the great Michael Jordan once said, "Without fundamentals, you're nothing." And there's too many travels these days where players aren't under pressure.
Yeah, and that was a classic
Good,
example
solid
there.
footwork. That was an obvious travel.
I mean, Hamid Ali had done really well to steal the ball and then set Smith up and let down by Smith who travelled. There's Defoe in there again, and Edozie and Smith. It's Edozie who's come on now for Smith, and Edozie just can't find a way of stopping Defoe. In fact, to be honest, Bristol can't find a way of stopping Defoe at the moment. And Eagles have got up to a 9-point lead on the night, and that makes it 12 points in aggregate, and it's going to be hard for Bristol to come back from this one, but not impossible.
Well, you know, while you were talking there, I ran the slow motion camera on that play, and Darius Defoe, when he's on the right-hand side of the block, that's the right-hand side as the Eagles look at their basket, goes one move to his left with a really strong pound. But what you know is going to happen is when he goes up, he's fading. And his player, if the player thinks he's going straight up, there's absolutely no way can you get onto that shot. And he holds that ball above his head in the space that is commanded for himself, and he's got a beautiful wrist action to kiss that home. So it's, to me, it's the off the dribble. He makes that pound, and as soon as he lands, he's already fading away from basketball to make that space his own and that shot possible. Very tough skill, but well executed.
Defoe up 26 points and 9 rebounds, and having a huge game, and clearly the MVP on the Eagles side of the house. We also have Fletcher's now up to 17 points, and he throws in 8 assists for that, and Flanoy has 11 rebounds. Scott Martin 8 points, and Drew Parks 11. For Bristol, Hamid Ali has 19, Boggs has 16, Leslie Smith has 10, and Mike Vigo has 9, Cosby 8, but it's the bench really. They've only got 7 points from the bench at the moment.
Yeah, and so where are we at? We're at 12 on aggregate, is it?
12 on aggregate.
12 on aggregate. But the big dynamic that's changed in this game is the Eagles are now posing all the questions that Bristol have got to answer, rather than the other way around.
And they've got Owen Edozie going for 3. And that's certainly something the Eagles will be more than happy to see. Daniel Edozie shooting 3s. Yeah, I don't think he's made one all season. Eagles got the rebound again with Defoe getting in there, and he's now at the other end. There's another short jump shot from Defoe. This time he doesn't make it. Vigo comes up the rebound. He finds Boggs. Boggs goes driving in against 2 Eagles, trying to back up Joe Hart, and he does well to get the shot away, but doesn't make it. And Eagles find that rebound. Hart at the other end doesn't make it though. Good defense by Leslie Smith in transition.
Yeah, what a block.
But Hamid Ali trying to pull up for 3 and is fouled by Dre Parks in the act of shooting.
If that's a 3 for 3, then suddenly the dynamic could change again.
Scott Martin coming on for Joe Hart, who put in a really good shift, I thought, on Hamid Ali.
Yep, he did.
Let's see their arms waving behind the basket, and the rest of us loud and proud. Make some noise!
Ali makes the first.
Yeah, he's the one guy you can't afford to foul, Jeff.
Yeah.
His free throw shooting's been excellent all night. I think you just said all season.
Yeah, he's an 82% free throw shooter. I think I
Yeah.
believe him. He's certainly over 80%, and you know, showing why. Yeah, I mean these are the first 2 there haven't even touched the rim. Nothing but net, as Mr. Routledge would say.
Yeah, you know, if you're a Dorsey and Smith on the Flyers side and you're guarding Darius Defoe, you have to make that effort to stop that setting up movement, because your teammates can help you if Darius beats you, but nobody can help on stopping the shot.
And Hamid Ali makes all 3. brings Bristol back to within 6 points on the night and 9 points on aggregate. Flournoy at the moment, ball playing the point. He finds Defoe inside, he's waiting for Fletcher. Fletcher comes, lovely cut from Fletcher, but he can't control the ball. And Bristol, if they get back here, he has Greg Street. He was going to give it to Cosby, who he eventually does, and Cosby charges in, and he's fouled, I think, by Scott Martin. Cosby will go up the line to shoot 2. Foul on Scott Martin. Just his second.
Well, I can only think there was body contact somewhere there, because I thought Scott Martin stood his ground and went straight up with his hands. So clearly there was body contact, I think, somewhere.
I think it was interesting that Greg Street had a chance to find Cosby in the corner for 3 and turned it down the first time. And when he gave it back in the second, Cosby was moving, so that was he was able to cut inside, and it was a good drive to the basket this time by Cosby. And he's now on the line for 2 shots. And he's made the first one. Bristol's free throw shooting has been exemplary.
He looks really comfortable, isn't he, on the line?
Yeah.
Cosby looks really comfortable on the line.
I mean,
He looks comfortable as well when he sets up to catch and shoot. Doesn't look so comfortable when he's penetrating.
17 of 18 of 19 from the line now, Bristol.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Eagles made 40 to 16, so I mean,
Yeah.
a high percentage of free
Yeah.
throws as well, and on both sides. He has Fletcher looking for a screen from Defoe. He finds it. Martin thinks about a 3, and then he also thinks about Dre Parks in the corner, and then he tries to drive, and Ali tries to pick his pocket from behind, but he slaps him on the wrist.
And the significance
foul.
of that is that puts Flyers in the penalty.
With still 4 minutes left to play.
Mind, the Eagles have got 3, so. And the way teams are shooting free throws, this could be big. This could be an important part of the game if the teams get in the penalty.
There's nothing. It's funny. There's nothing to choose on the night for these two teams in the free throws, and there's nothing to choose on the season. They're both shooting at 73%. Oh, Ali was a little bit lucky there.
He was very lucky, but
Threw the ball blind, but Edozie caught it, and Ali now setting up for offense. And Bristol only down by 4 on the night, and there's Boggs is wide open for 3, but he's 3-point shots off, and Darius Defoe is in a lot of pain on the ground there. He's
and
turned
it looks
his
as though
ankle.
it's his ankle, yes.
Turned his ankle. He looks in a lot of pain.
Oh.
Could be a big moment this with 3:37 to go, and it is Eagles' ball, and they've got a 4-point lead. Referee's waiting to just see what's going to happen. Haven't allowed the physio on yet. I think Dave Forrest is going to call a timeout to get that physio on.
Well, probably wise. Bristol have already used 1. Dave's got 3 left.
Yeah, 3:37 to go.
Yeah, 3:37 to go. I mean, I can imagine, if it gets really tight, he might need those 3 at the end, particularly in a situation where you want to call a timeout to be able to take the ball up the floor and inbound it in those last 2 minutes. But I think it's probably wise. Give the Eagles a bit of a breather and also give them a chance to think what will they do to replace Darius Defoe if he's unable to continue.
He's 26 points and 10 rebounds from Darius Defoe. Massive night efficiency value of 29, way in front of everybody else for the Eagles. But on the other side of the court, you've got an excellent performance from Hamid Ali. So he has 22 points. He's 8 from 8 from the free throw line. He's also got 8 rebounds and 6 assists and no turnovers.
That's pretty impressive figures, for 8 rebounds for a guard. In fact, is he their top rebounder?
He is, Dave. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, he's
Top rebounder.
You've got Cosby on 6. In fact, the 2 big guys who tend to pull down a lot of rebound is Smith's only got 5 and Edozie's got 3. Only got 3, but Ali having a really good all-round game.
Yeah.
Diego 5 rebounds as
I
well.
always think it's a huge advantage, Jeff, when your guards are good rebounders as well, and because a lot of occasions this year you've seen Parks taking rebounds, you've seen Hart taking rebounds, and you've seen both Fletcher and Parks being able to guard taller players. This sort of versatility, is often what gives the team an edge.
When you look at it on the Eagles side on the rebound in front, Darius Defoe, I've just mentioned, has 10 rebounds, but that young man Flournoy, he's managed to bounce his way up there to pick up 12 rebounds. There's Fletcher to find Jackman. Jackman wide open, lines up a 3, but that's off. But the Eagles.
Good handing. If that's a foul, that's the penalty.
The foul's on Hamid Ali. That's his 4th.
He'll be very disappointed. His coach will be very disappointed because that was a loose ball with the Eagles going nowhere.
I think the significance of that was how wide open Orland Jackman was, and he unable to knock down the three, but Eagles did well to recycle it, and obviously Dre Parks took the rebound, and when he came down, Ali was just bumping him in the side of the head.
It's interesting, isn't it, how Orland Jackman, when he's got very little time to get his shot off, he's in a catch and shoot situation, he's so comfortable, but when he has that long look like that, then he sometimes doesn't get the whole of his body, and particularly his wrist action and follow through into the shot.
Dre Parks just makes one of two, puts the Eagles up by 5 on the night and 8 on aggregate. Here goes Cosby charging in again, and he's made that one count. Cosby
Again.
looking as if he's trying to take over a little bit here.
Well, it was a good move. You know, you penetrate in, you're driving your defender back, and suddenly you stop. You've got to step back, and then you fade away. You can't block those shots.
Fletcher finding Martin, and Fletcher was calling for it straight back, didn't get it back as quickly as he wanted it. He's trying to find some way through, and somehow he has getting through, but he hasn't made the layup. And again, that's that man Hamid Ali who comes away with the rebound.
And that was a relatively...
Into Cosby again, and Cosby,
Oh,
beautiful
what a
block.
block. Was that Orland
I
Jackman?
think it was Jackman or Flanoy, but it was certainly one. And Martin for 3 at the other end. Oh, he doesn't make it, but Orland Jackman gets the rebound, but then he throws the ball away to Greg Street.
Just relax, get under control.
Oh, and there's a great defensive stop from Scott Martin, because Adozie was wide open under the basket.
Well, Smith, is it Smith or Adozie there? Got away with one.
Yeah, got away with a foul.
Yeah.
And we go into the 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Eagles up by 3 on the night and 6 on aggregate. Fletcher trying to get into work some space. He gives it to Flanoy, into Martin, who's on Boggs. Tries to go around Boggs. Fade away. It's tough fade away. He isn't making it. Cosby takes the rebound, and he comes charging at the other end again. Nice pass inside to Ali. Ali gives it to Boggs. Boggs comes in for the big flush. And that takes the Flyers back to within 1 on the night.
And a lot of time left on the clock. 1:45 is an eternity when it's a 1-point game. And these will be thinking, thank goodness we got those 3 points in the bank.
Fletcher trying to control the play, and Martin setting a screen at the 3-point line. Oh, nice pass from Orland Jackman for 3. It's short again, but Scott Martin takes the rebound, gives it back to Jackman, who's going to throw another one up, and that's 2 misses in a row.
Kill the clock, kill the clock.
Eagles need to come up with a stop here. Here's Street, he finds Adozie, who's wide open, but he decides not to take the shot. Ali will take the 2-point shot though, and makes it. And that puts Bristol up by 1 on the night, and Eagles only now lead by 2 on aggregate, and we're down to the last minute of the game, last minute of 80 minutes, and there's nothing between these sides, or very little between these sides, just 2 points, just 1 basket. Fletcher now drawing some time off the clock, looking for a drive to get to the basket, does get to the basket, thinks he's fouled again, but he always seems to think he's fouled. He wasn't fouled, it was clean block by Bristol, but it is Eagles ball on the end line, and I think Eagles have called a timeout there. There's 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, you know, it's almost like that was an end of game play. You know, I think I have every confidence in what Ramon Fletcher's decisions is going to make, but sometimes you need to move the ball a little bit before you start to stand as deep your own off. He's not only standing their defense still, he's standing his own offense still.
What I can tell you right now is we wait to play this last minute, is that London Lions have gone through against the Rocks. We came back well, London, after Rocks went on that charge. So at the moment, if the Eagles were to go through, the Eagles would play Worcester and Leicester would play London. If Bristol go through, Bristol would play Leicester, and then it would be London versus Worcester. And to be perfectly honest, you know, this is the way playoff basketball should be. You know, the last 48 seconds and the lineup for the semi-finals still not quite fully decided. And teams probably up and down the country sitting down, watching, you know, people at Worcester, people at Leicester, and people at London, just looking to see who are going to be playing in the next round.
Yeah. And this is obviously the game that's absolutely on a cliffhanger.
It really could go either way. You know, Eagles with 48 seconds here, but they've only got 5 seconds left on the shot clock. So there's still time for Bristol to have at least two offences.
Yeah, and no Darius on the floor to be able to pound the ball inside too.
Somebody's going to have to shoot the ball. Martin shoots it. It doesn't hit the rim. So that's a 24-second violation. So now, if Bristol can get at least a 2 here, they can tie the game up on aggregate, or a 3 could even put them in front. And that man Ali bringing the ball up slowly as the clock ticks down to 30 seconds. Ali shaking and baking with Flanoy, tries to go for the 2, and that's well off. He's saying it was tipped by an Eagles player. Bristol going full port here. Eagles get the ball over halfway. Bristol not going for the foul just yet. I would have thought they would have done. Oh, fantastic pass by Fletcher. Finds Flanoy completely unmarked under the basket, and Flanoy lays it in. And that takes the Eagles up to 81-80 on the night. And that makes it a 4-point lead on aggregate with 18 seconds left, and Bristol will call a timeout so they can advance the ball, but they need 4 points, Dave, in those last 18 minutes without reply. So what they really need is either a quick 2 or a 3 here, and obviously I would imagine a foul.
What we need to say first of all is it takes 2 to tango, and that was a fantastic pass from Fletcher. It was an equally fantastic slip behind the defence from Fab Flanoy to get wide open under the basket. Could be a game winner. Absolutely brilliant the way he rolled his man and just slipped to the basket, but full marks to Ramon Fletcher for finding him. Now we've got a really interesting situation here. We presume it's Bristol that's called the timeout, so they're going to be able to set up in the front court with the Eagles. What was it you said, 4 ahead? So actually they need a 2-possession game.
Yeah. Which is what I'm saying is you know, do you go for a quick 2 and then a foul, or do you go for a 3 and a foul?
That they have no choice, because and if they don't somehow make this a 2-possession game, it's over. Yeah. Unless, of course, the Eagles foul a 3-point shoot rule makes it and they get the bonus from the line. So, you know, the Eagles say here, don't foul a 3-point shooter.
Exactly what Flanoy's telling these players there. It's don't foul. And Dave Forrester giving the same message from the sidelines. But here we go, the last 18 seconds of this playoff tie, which has been fantastic value all the way through. Bristol, a huge amount of credit. Clock ticks down. He has Boggs. He's going to try and get past Jackman on the line. A 3-point effort. He's short, but Boggs takes the offensive rebound, puts it back. There's 9 seconds left on the clock, and the Eagles, I think, have got a timeout left, and they take that. So Bristol now up by 1 on the night, but down 2 on aggregate, and 9 seconds left on the clock, and the Eagles will inbound the ball in the Bristol half. So if this was just tonight's game, you might have a different tactic, but actually Bristol are down, so therefore they can't afford to take any time at all off the clock. They have got to immediately foul. Yeah. As you say, you know, that those Eagles did have that 33-point lead at one stage, and Bristol did fantastically well to bring it back down to 3, but even now that 3 points is looking absolutely crucial. Well, you can say that Bristol have been absolutely fantastic in the way they've held in this game over the last 6 quarters. Yeah. You know, absolutely full credit to them and their organisation for coming back from a 33-point down deficit. There are times tonight when you thought the Eagles might just be gaining control of the game, particularly when Darius Dassault was so effective inside, but you know, his ankle injury changed the dynamic of the game. So what the Eagles can't afford here is a turnover, and what Bristol can't afford to do is, if the Eagles do successfully inbound the ball, they can't afford to allow Eagles to play any time off the clock at all. Going to the experienced head who made that 2-point layup before Flanoy. Obviously the ball going to Fletcher. Yeah. It took just over 2 seconds to get that foul, which is probably as quick as they could get it. And it is Fletcher that's going to the line, and you know, Ramon Fletcher is the Eagles' best free throw shooter at over the 80%. Yeah. Nearly 84%, I believe. Yeah. But you know, a lot of pressure on these shots. But you know, if Eagles had anybody to choose to go on the line, it would be that man Fletcher. I mean, I think you're absolutely right there. Only 2 seconds off the clock is a bit of a result from Bristol. Obviously, they're at a disadvantage now that they've put a player on the line. But you've always got to be careful in these situations that you don't commit an unsportsmanlike.
otherwise the game is over. So, still on a knife edge, maybe, but Fletcher can settle everybody's nerves by making these. Is it Fletcher on the line?
It's Fletcher,
Yeah,
on,
Fletcher
the
on the
line,
line, yeah.
I think Bristol have called their last time out
Yeah.
just to give them a little bit more time to think about it. I guess that means I have to be honest to say I'm not fully sure what the rule is now, because obviously Bristol would normally call the timeout to advance the ball, but if they've called the timeout before the free throws are taken, I'm not so sure what happens.
Well, I think you run the risk of the Eagles missing the second free throw and not being able to then call your timeout
Yeah.
to advance the ball. So this is probably the best option that they had.
And that is an interesting point, because again, you look at this, and if Fletcher makes the first one, Eagles are 3 points up on aggregate. He could almost miss the second one, and they would have sort of 7 seconds. Bristol would have to get a 3-point shot off, which would tie the game on aggregate. So I think basketball is probably the only sport that could come up with a scenario like this, Dave, with only 6 seconds left in the game.
You're right. I mean, it is interesting, and it's an interesting theory. Mine is make these two.
Make them two, and
Yeah.
then it makes it that much harder anyway, doesn't it?
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's got the lucky roll for the first one. Have to say that was a big lucky. That was an MVP roll, I'm going to say, Dave, and get wrong off all the fans in the league for saying so. But that puts the Eagles level on the night at 82 all, and it puts them up 3 on aggregate. He's missed the second one, and that did almost look deliberate, and he took the rebound himself. Coach Kapula's just looking there and thinking, what is that?
Yeah.
I don't think he did miss that deliberately, but the way it came back all the way to him, it almost looked as if he'd missed it deliberately. But he was able to get the long rebound, and then he was immediately fouled again, and he's back on the line for another 2. And he's made the first one, so Eagles up 1 on the night, and now that's 4 on aggregate. So that gives Bristol an almighty task to do now, but to be fair to Bristol, for them to take it to the 4 seconds over 2 legs against the second place team in the league is fantastic. Fletcher makes them both. Bristol will at least look to try and get that last shot off and at least win the game, but Ali can't quite do that either. And there it is, it's Eagles 84, Flyers 82, which makes it a 5-point win on aggregate for the Eagles, who advance to the semi-finals, where they will take on Worcester Wolves in that semi-final, and in the other semi-final it will be Leicester Riders versus London Lions. The first leg of the Eagles semi-final against Wolves will actually be held this coming Wednesday night at Sports Central. Eagles unable to get a court at the weekend, so have had to concede the first leg advantage to the lower place team, and that game will tip off at 7:30 on Wednesday night, and Dave and myself will be back to bring you that from live basketball TV on Wednesday night. But from us, fantastic game, Dave, fantastic effort by Bristol, but they've just come up short, and the Eagles advance.
Yeah, I think with the Eagles' proud history and the record over the year, you have to say that Bristol should go out of here with the heads held high. I thought that there were times when the execution of basketball wasn't as perfect as would you like it, but there was never a moment at all when either of these teams backed away from tonight's challenge. Level of intensity was absolutely high. Both teams committed totally to trying to win this game. And as we say, good luck to Bristol in the future, very new to the league. The best ever record this year, 17 wins, 16 losses. They've earned the right to walk out of here, and they're right there. They're applauding the fans, but the Eagles roll on with an opportunity now to get to another final, but standing in their way is one of the form teams of the moment, Worcester Wolves.
That'll be an absolutely fantastic semi-final, so join us for that on Wednesday night. And until then, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did here.